Welcome to Untamed Blossoms, the podcast where we celebrate the untamed journey of womanhood. Here, we tell the stories of incredible women who have embraced their authenticity, inspiring others to do the same.
From entrepreneurs to artists, activists to adventurers, we share triumphs, challenges, and the beauty of self-discovery. These are the stories of women blazing their own trails, breaking free, and blooming unapologetically.
Join us to connect, be inspired, and celebrate the power of women's stories. Together, let's rewrite the rules and embrace our wildness.
Welcome to Untamed Blossoms. I'm your host, Amanda Riley.
And I'm Christy Riley. Welcome to the show, everybody. You look beautiful today.
Oh, thank you. I was feeling like it's fall. Yet again, it's not. We talked about this last episode.
I'll give you that fall weather is here.
It's here.
It is. The mornings are feeling brisk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is coming, even though it is mid-August and it's a little weird that that's happening at this time.
Last week of August, though. We have literally Monday. Next Monday will be the first.
Yeah.
I have a calendar, if you will, that I follow each year. So the last week of August, I start slowly adding pumpkins everywhere inside my house.
You have a pumpkin calendar? Is that what you're saying?
It's internal.
Oh, okay.
But the last week of August, I start slowly just adding some pumpkins here and there. White pumpkins. Nothing crazy.
Right.
Then the first week of September, maybe some skeletons. Not like spooky skeletons, but I have like little skeletons doing yoga. Right. I have like the little things, right? Maybe I'll take down some of my greenery artwork and I'll start putting up maybe a little bit more spooky artwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Mid-September, one day, Halloween's vomited everywhere in our home.
Why wait?
I never wait.
Who's judging you?
Yeah, I never.
Why not the beginning of September? I know that you are dying to put it out.
I just try to wait.
Do you get tired of it?
No. I like but I like the fall stuff a lot. So like, I let the fall stuff breathe before I go full spooky.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Luckily, we got married in October, so I have no shortage of white pumpkins.
That's true. That's true. We bought a lot of white pumpkins for your wedding. So many.
I
may have gone overboard. I just kept. That's not to mention the white pumpkins that I bought that were real that we used to. These are just the fake ones that you still have.
I really do think I went to Michael's every week and bought another white pumpkin, and you bought another real pumpkin.
Yeah. Yeah. It was beautiful.
So it worked out well.
Yesterday, went to a fundraising event.
So fun.
Yeah. So for Ashley Lemon Designs, but it was really for drillforlife.org, which is putting water wells in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
She's now put 20 in? 22. Can't remember that exact number. Sorry, Ashley. But what a cool event. Food. You paid $30 a ticket. You got amazing all-you-can-eat Zimbabwean food. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Wonderful music.
Oh, yeah.
Like traditional
I almost said karaoke. Reggae music. So it was a lovely, lovely time. We were out at the park.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day.
Beautiful day. Yeah, I couldn't have asked for better weather. So we were happy to support her. It was a really fun event. So anybody looking for somebody to support doing a really great cause, we got to hear some really moving stories about what it was like and the difference that it makes in lives. Like truly makes a huge difference in their quality of life. So if you find yourself struggling these days, to look for something to support and get behind that makes you feel good about being a human on this planet and taking care of others, definitely take a look at her website and considering donating or going to one of her events to support her. It was a lot of fun.
You said something in this speech that I think is important for everyone to hear. And he said, this is something that you're going to volunteer and donate and help do that you'll never get to see or even hear a thank you from the people that it impacts.
Right.
And I thought, man, what an important thing to remind yourself is when you do things for others, you're not always going to even get to see what that impact is. And every day whether you give a stranger a smile or show someone kindness that maybe is coming off aggressive, or the little things that you do have a ripple that you might never see. So it's just important to show up like that all the time.
All the time. Yep, I agree. It was a really great event, so we were happy to attend. Hopefully they made some good dough to get put another drill in. She said it was an interesting thing somewhere between what it was 8,000 to what'd she say 20 some thousand with a new version to, and what is great about this organization is there's other organizations that have put wells in, and that's great. However, what we learned through her is that a lot of them don't continue to maintain them. And so the wells stop working, and the little towns don't have enough funds to repair them, or even the know-how or any of the things, the way to get any of the parts. So it ends up just getting abandoned. So all of the work and all of the money to get water to these people doesn't necessarily get maintained. And what's great about Drill for Life,
their new model
is that it has a GPS tracker. They can see when it's broken. They can send people to fix it. And so they keep their pumps going. And the new pump is good for like 5 years without having to repair it.
Yeah.
So it just has more longevity. And it's just really cool that they can see what they're doing. Yeah. So it's real powerful. Anyway, enjoy that.
Yeah.
But she was a great interview, is really a gardener and is trying to help people really get connected to nature. And so is our guest today.
Cannot
and
wait.
They knew each other,
which
was great. I can't wait to talk to her about that. But Ashley would have Katie Carey is our guest today. And she is basically creating garden spaces in unusual places. So if you are in an urban area and like to have a garden in your backyard, you want to convert your front yard to a garden, you want to meadow a space so you don't have to mow it. All the things that are good for our environment, Katie could do. She also will help you maintain your garden. She offers that service, which I think is really cool.
Totally.
Something I learned this year is that, man, if you don't plant right and you don't prevent weeds become a real issue real quick while you're on vacation. You may not recover.
Yeah, totally.
Mine have taken over.
Yeah.
Which made me realize that I wanted raised beds. And I want, as far as my lifestyle and how I can maintain it, other people may not care about that and have plenty of time to spend maintaining it. But it was a nice sample garden to understand. And that's where we were going to put the real garden. It didn't have enough sun. So I'm glad I didn't move forward really fast with Katie. She's actually just helping me design the Untamed Blossoms garden, which I'm real excited about. But I'm glad that we had this test and this pause because we would have put it in the wrong place.
Totally.
We didn't have enough sunshine in that spot. So although my garden did okay, I think it will do a lot better in the back. So she'll be here today, and I can't wait to talk to her about all the things that she offers. Katie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Christy.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here.
For a lot of reasons. You've already been out to my house. You've already been out to the little Untamed Blossoms farm, we like to call it. And is helping me put together the garden that's going to be out back. Hopefully that is going to hold a lot of really powerful spacing out there. So I'm super excited about our meeting for later, but also to hear about you and how you got to this place, how you got to help people bring gardening into their lives, and dirt under their fingernails and dirt under their feet, and running around barefooted in their land. Yeah.
And before we get there, I have a hard-hitting question. It's Ohio.
Don't give me a softball.
It's a curve one. It's Ohio. It's crazy town. 1 minute it's 90 degrees. The next minute it's like frosty out there. What is your advice for people and like their succulents and cactuses that they might be having living outside in Ohio? When do people put those things inside, and when is it too late?
I'm afraid that the first question you ask me, I am totally useless on, because we work only with food.
Cool.
I love cacti, and my boyfriend's actually the houseplant dad of our home.
Okay.
Nice.
So I'm afraid I'm like totally useless in that way.
That's fine.
I will say there is a, I don't know if it's a native cactus, but it is a cactus that can overwinter in Ohio called prickly.
Oh.
So in that case, you can leave it outside in the ground.
Okay.
All winter.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I think Ohio is so tricky with all of that. Even with food and with plants, I feel like one wrong cold day,
Yeah.
your tomatoes are done.
Well, I will tell you that there were succulents at my last house planted all along the driveway, and it was in a fairly protected place, and they stayed. They overwintered there.
Okay.
So I think there are certain succulents that can stay outside if they're in protected spaces,
That makes sense.
not in a container.
Yeah,
you know,
that makes sense.
The
But
containers always freeze first.
yeah,
Wow, this is why plant people are important. Truly. So, yes, take us back. Tell us everything. Where did this all start for you?
Yeah. So I own and operate a company called Columbus Foodscapes. And way back in 2020, you guys remember, right? We all remember 2020.
Yep.
we all remember it. I do. We all remember it.
At that point, I had been farming and gardening for several years. I was like really getting my footing in the urban farming community. I was a master gardener. I was a master urban farmer. It's kind of like hitting my stride, really growing into that community. My passion in particular was growing food. That was like really what I loved to do and loved to connect to our communities. And 2020 hit and everything fell apart, like the whole world, you know. We all quarantined. And I remember at that time, everybody was quarantining, myself included. And everybody either wanted to bake bread or start a garden. I'm a terrible baker, but I was a gardener and everybody knew that. And so I had all of these people and my friends and my family saying like, hey, like, could you come over and like help me with my garden? Could you come over and tell me what I'm doing wrong? You know, like, why is my tomato plant dying? Could you help me plan out a salad garden? Like it happened so organically because so many people, I think really, when the dust settled and we weren't busy, I think the thing that people wanted most deeply was to connect with something bigger than themselves and very present and grounded in their own space and their landscape. That's what I witnessed in my community. And so I started helping my friends and my family and friends of friends. And I realized there isn't really a service in our area. Like Columbus and Central Ohio doesn't really have a service that is very specifically focused on growing food, making really beautiful, but also edible and abundant landscapes. And it happened very organically. Like I really felt a call to be that person to help bring that idea and that service into Central Ohio and into our world.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
We always talk about how COVID was such a slowdown for so many people. I think you're right. The being present and learning. I think people were like, wow, as an adult, when's the last time I learned something new? Or when's the last time I decided to do something for my family that's going to benefit us long term? And you don't really have time to get into that in the normal hustle and bustle. So
What I loved is that, you know, the first couple of weeks, even a couple of months, honestly, I think people binged Netflix, right? Like you go to your normal distraction and people were so used to watching TV that, okay, we're just going to spend a lot of time just binge watching Netflix, right? Everybody was watching, what was that stupid show that the one with the tigers?
Tiger King,
for God, love of God. No one should ever watch that show, but we all watched it because we, you know, was nothing else to do. And I think we got so bored with that we were like, what else is there? And then people started riding their bikes, going outside for walks. And then then people, I think, remembered, wow, this is nice. Like It's nice to connect to our environment, to nature, to be outside. And also, I can't watch one more second of Tiger King.
It was an
interesting
so
time. Beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like there was a push and pull, right? Because on the one hand, there was so much collective fear. But I think on the other hand, in our day-to-day lives, at least for me and for a lot of my community members, like there was this collective like breath of relief almost. I feel like there was like a nervous system just reset. Okay, like we don't have to push so hard right now.
Right.
And what do we do next?
Yeah. Miss the days of can't come to that. I was exposed to COVID, so sorry.
I'm down for 7 days.
Yeah. Sorry, we'll be inside then again for 7 days. So, did you grow up in an environment like this? Did you grow up where people were constantly like excited about going outside and getting in the dirt? No,
not at all. I was definitely like an indoor cat as a kid. I was all the way indoors, and I went to a really, really great school in Worthington called Linworth. experiential program.
Yeah.
My high school, and it was really highly based in experiential learning. And so I feel like my sort of passion for like just experience-based learning and like hands-on stuff and like, okay, like figuring stuff out in an organic way instead of through a textbook, I think really started there, and being very adventurous and like open to that style of learning.
Which I think would probably suit every teenager so much better than our current system of just if you're experiencing different things. My youngest at this point is out of high school 2 years, doesn't have any idea except for his experience that he's been exposed to with us. What else is out there in the world? And he's like, I don't know what I want to do. And for somebody who's not immediately like attached to something, having an experience in high school where you go and you sample different careers and different things and experience different, he might have left high school with a different, like, at least maybe I've experienced some things that I don't want to do versus, you know, I think you're very limited in what your friends do and your parents do and your, you know, situational experiences that you get exposed to. And even that's limited. So Linworth, we toured Linworth, and I really tried hard to get him to go there.
It's a really terrific school. It was changed
really
my life. You know, I think it's like not an exaggeration to say that. And I think it changed a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
I just think like the confidence that I had going into the real world was so much more than my peers who didn't have that kind of experience.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't really get into gardening until college, actually. And I started working at a farm to table cafe in this teeny tiny town in Ohio where I went to school. And
where was that?
It was in Tiffin, Ohio. I went to Heidelberg.
I went to Heidelberg.
Shut up. That cannot be true.
I graduated in 2008.
You are joking.
No.
I'm like, this has to be the
communication major. Yeah, 2008 I graduated.
I know this sounds like I have literally never met anybody else in my walking life.
Same.
That's insane.
I literally was just like, oh, because no one ever said that. Yeah.
Look at these connections. This is kismet.
Yeah.
I, sounds like similar to your kiddo, had really no grip on what I wanted to do. I mean, who does when they're 18? Right?
People think they do, but it's only, I think, mostly out of pressure. I don't think that people that are 17 and 18 go, I definitely know that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. No.
Who does? Yeah. So I went to school and I kind of, this is going to make me sound like a bad student, but I was a really good student. Like I was in the honors roll. Like I jumped through the hoops. I did the thing. But I was kind of like, hey, like, what's the degree with kind of like the least amount of requirements, like the most amount of flexibility, I should say. And like, how can I get out of here quicker?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be in class. Like, I don't want to do that. And it was international relations. It was really special. I got to travel for like half of my college career. I went all over the world. I got all these scholarships to do it. Like I did it really cheaply. And I spent a lot of time learning about other cultures, like being entrenched in other spaces and other cultures, learning like languages. Like I just like spent a lot of time doing those things. And throughout that journey, like I was always really interested in growing food and like gardening and what that meant and looked like, but I didn't quite have, you know, I grew up in the suburbs. And I think when you grow up in the suburbs and you think about a farmer, the typical picture of a farmer is like somebody who is like kind of older, usually a white guy, usually like in their 60s on a tractor. Like there wasn't really like an image, and it's nobody's fault. It's just as like culturally how it was. There wasn't really an image of like, hey, like you can be like a young woman farmer, like growing organic produce, or you can be in this world and not be in traditional ag. Right?
Yeah. It doesn't have to look like a field.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's also a lot of different ways you can take it. So
Yeah.
we don't see a lot of women farmers on TV, culturally, whatever. It's a little bit more prevalent now, I think, for social media, but I didn't really see it as an option, right? Like the see to believe kind of theory.
Right.
But then when I got to college, I started working at this really super cute farm to table cafe called the Beehive Cafe. It's no longer there, but I really fell in love with it. Like the woman there who ran it was really my mentor, and like I really just adored her. And I also was really into, you know, alternative and like progressive and experiential education. And I went to the school and I said, hey, I have this idea for a class. I really want to do a farm to table class. I want to learn everything about like traditional and local agriculture that I can in this class, and like do some reports and interview local farmers in the area. And I want to do a big presentation at the end of the year. and they let me do it. They green lighted it. That's the nice thing about going to a small school, I think, is that like, you know,
like, what do you want to do? Sure.
Yeah, I was a little fish, but I was in a little pond.
Right.
It was only like 1,000 kids, and I was like razzle dazzle enough to let me do it, which turned out to be really beneficial later too. But so I did it, and I got to interview all these farmers, and it really just sort of like opened my world to what some of the farmers I interviewed, you know, they were people who were delivering food to the cafe, and so there was this sort of holistic connection there, and a lot of them were these really cool women. So I started working with the women. I started like, you know, farming there during the summers. And then I would get like these farming internships, and got one in upstate New York where I would like work on this organic farm for a summer. And it just sort of snowballed. And after college, I really wanted to continue that. So I moved back to Columbus and started working at different urban farms all around the urban Columbus area.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. And I started Columbus Foodscapes when I was 24. And it's been 5 years now, and it just has grown exponentially. Like every single year it doubles. I wish I could like take credit for that success, but I really feel more like it is just so deeply wanted and needed in this community that we have somebody and a group of people who are helping each other like grow food and make spaces beautiful while they're also abundant, that I feel like it really is just, it's a token to how greatly needed that kind of service is.
Yeah. What are some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome so far, right? Starting your own business in and of itself is hard. And then what you're doing is pretty unique. So what have you come across that you're like, oh, this is a big learning for me?
Yeah. Gosh, it's so funny. I don't know if you guys experience this like as business owners with the podcast, but I really feel like, I don't know how to say it, like the success of my business and my work is so enmeshed with my own like capacity and ability to grow personally.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of the fears that I've had, they're not just business fears, because I am the business, right?
Yeah.
For a while, it was only me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's my fear that I have to get through. So I think a lot of like personal work, especially just around imposter syndrome, like being so young starting it, and then kind of not having, there weren't any other services in Columbus like it at the time.
We do talk about imposter syndrome a lot on the show, because especially when there's not a blueprint for what you want to do and you were so young, it's like, wow, I'm running a business, me, you know,
or I'm the expert, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm the expert at 24 years old. Who's going to take me seriously? And
Oh yeah,
I'm sure there was a lot of those voices in your head, even though you'd had a ton of experience and
constantly,
Yeah.
all the time, all the time. It's been cool though, like looking back. I mean, 5 years later, I don't feel that fear, that pressure anymore. I think that because I did it, you know.
Yeah.
I did it.
You've
Now we have a company, and it's like a real thing, and we have, it is thriving, and like it's financially stable. Like there's things that have happened that I'm like, okay, cool. Like I kind of worked through the imposter syndrome in that way, but yeah, totally. I had a mentor who told me early on, like you can let fear ride in the car with you, but you can't let it drive. And I would say that to myself all the time. Like you're allowed to be afraid. You're allowed to have imposter syndrome. You're allowed to like think that you can't do it, but you cannot let that voice be the thing that is steering the car. Like,
yeah. That's really good advice. We talk about this too. It's just like, if you wait for everything to be perfect, if you wait for the right conditions or things to fall exactly the way they should, you'll never start. And it's like, you just have to be afraid and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us an example. I mean, we talk about mine all the time. When she said, I want to start the podcast, and I was like, I don't know. Right. Immediately I was like, what do I have to say that anybody would want to hear? And that's not what this is about, right? It's a service. It's a service to others that we're bringing voice to what incredible women are doing in our communities and across the world, really, in the United States. For sure, we've interviewed people everywhere. So what were examples of things that you ran across that you were like, which way do I go here? That you chose to not let fear drive?
When I started the business, when I started Columbus Foodscapes, I bootstrapped it through and through. Like I didn't have like a big loan. I didn't get a loan. I didn't, I had these resources, which were like my community and sort of what I had learned along the way.
Yeah.
And the skills that I already had. But I started it out of a Honda Accord, and like I didn't have a truck yet. So everything that we did had to fit within the scope of what I could do, getting deliveries and like within the Honda Accord. And I worked like that for about 2 years. And yeah, there were some moments where I was like, wow, I'm like loading mulch bags into this nice car.
Yeah.
And I would like go to mulch yards with these like professional people who are seeing professional, usually landscapers day in and day out. And I'm coming in like with my little hat and my Honda Accord. And I'm like, hello, like I need this many bags of mulch, please. And, and really having to own it. What surprised me though, and what I've been really delighted by is that majority of people, 98% of people that I come across have been nothing but encouraging. Like there's something magic, I think, about growing food, really, because it touches everyone, like across political spectrums, across all people, ages, races, like backgrounds, cultures, like everybody eats. And so no matter how silly I looked, and no matter how much of an amateur I looked like with my little car, picking up like these really professional materials, people were like, as soon as they heard what I was doing and as soon as they were like, oh my God, you're installing a vegetable garden. Like, that's so cool. My wife and I want to do that. And like, we have tomatoes and like, and and it's just like the questions would start pouring and it's like, okay, like people actually don't care that I look like a child right now. Like people just really want to see this work in the world. And and I think that's what kept me going is just seeing, as much as I had imposter syndrome, eventually when we transitioned to a truck, I was like, finally, it was so needed.
I'm like pulling up in the biggest truck you can buy.
It was so needed. Yeah. For sure. And I did experience, like, there was definitely some sexism along the way too, but has been I've been shocked. It has been way, way fewer people than I was expecting.
Yeah. I think we always anticipate the worst.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of nice when you're delighted by
only a little.
This isn't so bad.
Yeah. I've had some empowering experience too. I had a guy kind of be really disrespectful to me that I had hired through another company. Like it was a subcontractor. He was really disrespectful like the whole day. And I talked to his boss about it and he got fired. Like, I was kind of like, bummer. Like, I don't know. Like, still not
Karma's a bitch. She'll come right back at you.
And I wasn't like, I think he had a lot of, things happen before that too, but at least
I can tell you as an employer, that wasn't his last, that wasn't his first offense.
That was not
his first offense. It's like now we have profession. The cool thing about that is that should empower you to be like, wow, I am looked at as an asset to this man's company, so much so that his employees disrespecting me was not okay.
Exactly.
And that's cool, right? Is that now you've stepped into the realm of my business to this person is big enough that it's impactful that he did something about his employees being disrespectful to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's really powerful.
Really empowering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
When people reach out to you and they want your assistance, I assume it is partial design of like, where do these tomato plants go? Right. I think that's why people don't start gardens for the most part is there's so many logistical questions. Do I do a raised bed? Do I do like little boxes or pots, or do I do it in the ground? Like, so, I know the initial thought of it's like where and what, but then what are the things do people really struggle with when they're starting out, and how do you kind of guide them through those struggles?
Yeah. People contact us for all kinds of reasons. And there are some people who are just getting started and they have a lot of that overwhelm of like, where do I even put this? And like, is this a good spot? And what kind of soil do we need? And what can I even grow here in this climate? And then there's people who are, who contact us who are actually really established gardeners and they just want help sort of just like tightening their systems and like learning about some funky, cool stuff they can grow. And so we have a really wide range. But I'd say that's the primary thing is that people feel overwhelmed. They need somebody to take, somebody with knowledge and expertise to take all of their ideas and their thoughts and organize them either into a design, organize them into a plan, into a series of concepts, into, a concept that they can use moving forward.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like the maintenance afterwards, even it's just like, wow, now I have this sweet garden with all the things I love. How do I not murder every plant that I have?
And we help with that too. So we do maintenance, but we also do stuff like garden coaching where basically one-on-one tutoring, right? It's like a piano tutor. I come to their house in their garden and I say, hey, like, let's learn how to maintain this space together so that you have the confidence and the knowledge to be able to move forward and do it yourself if you want.
Yeah. And I contacted you because I really want all the things, and yet I don't really want all the things. And so, like that's the beautiful thing. And the beautiful thing about what you offer is that I was like, okay, I belong to OAFA, and I send them money every month, and I really believe in organic gardening and supporting people locally and all those things. And I was like, okay, I'm going to grow my own food now that I'm out here. Great.
Yeah.
What do I grow? And can I grow it? And clearly, by my little test garden out here, spacing is something that I was not prepared for. I was like, when you're planting the small plants, big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I planted one sweet potato plant. It's taken over the whole damn space, right? Like you just, and that's the fun thing about gardening, and also the overwhelm part of it, right? Is that you spend money to put plants in, right? And you want to get something back out of that. And what I have come to love about it is that really it's part of the experience, not just about the vegetables that I get back out of it, because I do get plenty. But man, my little puppy going out there and wanting to eat the cherry tomatoes right off the plant. And I fed him strawberries off the plant yesterday that had some bug stuff, but he didn't care. He wanted to have the strawberry. He has the best time in the garden.
Aww.
And the grandbaby's going out there, and we picked sunflower seeds, to pick the heads, and they got to see where sunflower seeds come from. That is priceless. And I'm not going to cry, but I want to cry because that's fair, and going out and picking raspberries and blackberries and watching them just take something off the vine and eating it is so powerful that I get to give that to them. And so I'm so excited about what we're going to create. And the cool thing about what you offer is I was like, hey, I do want to have food. I do. But I also don't want to have to plant every single plant every single year, right? Like, because that's a lot of work, and we want to travel and we wanted to go and do things. And when you start down that road, you realize very quickly the same with having animals on a farm. You don't get to go anywhere unless you pay somebody to come and take care of them, right? Like animals need fed and water twice a day, and they need maintenance. And it's just like your indoor pets. You have to take care of them. You can't just leave them for a week on vacation. And finding people to come and do that for you is not easy unless you rely on your community to do it and your neighbors to do it. And it's a lot to ask people twice a day to take care of farm animals. And so we've had to have very deliberate conversations about what do we want maintenance wise? And the fact that you offer some of that service to be able to maintenance a garden or to help them maintain it during a season, if they are people who travel or do things, but they still want to have the food, I think that's so great. Yeah. I can't wait. And that's what I said. I'm like, Katie, you'll take care of it.
And I do, and we will.
Yeah.
We have a great, she's
going to help me come up with a plan, and we don't have to plan it every year. But, but I was like, man, there's some other things that I would really love to plan.
Yeah. We have a great team. I'm so lucky. And I love hearing your experience with that, because like that's the juice, right? Like that's why I do what I do, and why our team does what we do, is that like we are trying to give you the confidence and the tools and the skills and the support to leverage your experience so that you can go out there with your grandbaby or with your puppy and be like eating raspberries off the bush and be like, okay, cool. Like Columbus Foodscapes has my back. Like if something's weird, if something goes, wonky, like I know that I've got a crew behind me to make sure that this goes well. Yeah. And that I'm set up with so much success that it's like, I hate to say fail proof, because no garden's ever really fail proof, right? But it's like, it's a living project. Yeah. And if we can set you up with a foundation that is beautiful and productive and as low maintenance as possible for you, so that you can actually enjoy it instead of feeling stressed out about like, oh my God, like when do I plant this and where do I plant? Do I have to get tomato stakes? And like we don't want you to have to deal with that stuff. Like it should just be really fun, and it should be enjoyable. And you know what? Yeah, maybe you'll get like a little sweaty and you'll work kind of hard, but it should be the kind of hard work that feels exciting and joyful, instead of the kind of hard work where you're like spinning your wheels and constantly trying to figure out what to do next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many people do you have on your team? And when did you start expanding that? Like, what was your trigger point to say, I need help?
I have expanded at a snail's pace, very intentionally. Like I said, I've bootstrapped the business. Like I did not want to have to take out a line of credit or a loan. So I have really like only used the capital that we have gained from the business, right? And just like constantly keep putting it back into the business. So we have 4 people that are kind of our core team right now. It's myself, 2 part-time employees who install with us Tuesday through Thursday, and sometimes they jump on Fridays too. And then we have a builder who's part-time as well, who does all of our building, a lot of our sometimes he leads some of our hardscaping projects, stuff like that. Who's also my partner. His name's Joe.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. We'll probably expand to 3 full-time people next year. It's kind of like I said, we just kind of it was only myself for several years. And I would hire people on and off to sort of help here and there with projects. And then it was crazy. I just feel like, if you're a business owner and you're hearing this out here, like hiring employees changes everything. It changes everything. It's like I have transitioned from doing every single aspect and having to hold all of it into being able to really practice delegation. And it has like exploded because like our business just like exploded because of it. It's been amazing. Yeah. It took a lot of, I had a lot of fear walking through that. Like I was really nervous to do it, but it's been totally transformative.
Well, I think when anything is like starting a business is like a child, right?
Yeah.
And to have the ability to let go of some of that control to let someone else nurture and care for something that you feel like you birthed is really intense, and it feels really hard. So I think sometimes to let go of some of that.
It's super hard.
But it's also growth for you too, right? And it's also like, wow, like I am learning and expanding my skill set too, because managing employees is also a game changer. And that also pushes and can expand you as well.
Yeah, it really does. My like core, I call it my compass, right? Like my core compass is always about joy and connection. Like that's really what drives me in life, in my friendships, in my relationship, in business, and learning. Like joy and connection and learning are like kind of my 3 big ones. And what I shouldn't say it surprised me, but I think like what I have found through hiring a team and through like getting close with that team is that it's the reasons that I was afraid of it were around like, oh my gosh, like am I going to be able to really keep up with them? Am I going to be able to, will they like me? Like even some of those questions.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that like what I have found is that it's so joyful. Like it's so much freaking fun working with people.
Yeah.
It's so fun. If you hire a good crew, it's like, man, it's every day
It has to be the right people.
It has to be the right people. And it's so fun.
Yeah.
And it's so connective. Like we have just these great, like I feel so connected and close with them. And they're just really great people. And I just am so lucky to get to work with them,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a game changer.
So big. And I got really lucky my first try. Like I think I got like beginner's luck. Like they're just like perfect people. And I'm like, oh my God, like I just got so lucky.
It's also magnetic too. I think when you really love what you're doing and you really care and you're doing it for the right reasons, the right people find you. So
yeah, I believe in like the law of attraction, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're going to attract the same like energy to the people that are really loving what you're doing, that they're going to love it the same.
Yeah. So do you have like an actual like storefront, or are you running everything kind of remote?
Yeah. So everything is, I would say like pseudo remote. So because we work with physical landscapes, like those are our offices, right? Those are our workspaces. So we go and we travel around the city and around Central Ohio, and we sort of tend to and install and manage these spaces. And then I work from home a lot. So you were just telling me about how you take your laptop everywhere and like your office is wherever your laptop is.
Yeah.
It's the same for me.
Yeah.
My laptop, I can work in almost any environment now. I can like, I'm just like locked. I've
like
had
sitting on a park bench, like
100%. I've had a lot of like, well, I guess I have an hour to kill between like these 2 different suburbs, and I'm just going to sit in my car in a parking lot for an hour and work on emails, like just that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, at the risk of sounding silly in a few years, my big dream is to have a demonstration garden and a classroom space, because I teach a lot of classes, and something that's really unique about Columbus Foodscapes as a company is that unlike I would say like a traditional like come in, install, maintain landscape company, we put a ton of emphasis on education and on teaching people how to do it themselves if they want to.
Yeah.
Right. Like not everybody can afford, honestly, like a big installation. Like, okay, we work with a lot of DIY clients too. If they're say, hey, like I want to do it myself, or hybrid people, right? Who are like, I want to do part of this myself. Is that okay? And I say 100%. Like, a lot of landscaping companies won't work with folks like those. And if our ultimate goal is to help people grow food, it's like whatever it takes.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. So my goal is to have an education center, classroom space, workshop space. I really want people to be able to come and do sort of these bite-sized introduction classes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have a social media presence where you do some of the tutorials or a how-to, whether it be like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube?
Yeah, we do. So we have an Instagram and a Facebook. I don't post on there nearly as much as I should be doing. But we also do a lot of classes and workshops through other places throughout Ohio and throughout Central Ohio.
And a website, I assume, where people can find you and find those workshops?
Yes. Yeah, columbusfoodscapes.com. And I would say too, like if you're listening and you're kind of a beginning gardener, especially in Central Ohio, we have a really great resources page on our website that has a lot of like blog posts, and we have a great, like you were talking about, when do I plant tomatoes? Like, when do I take my cacti in? You know, we don't talk about cacti, but we do talk about month to month. This is what you are planting. I think you got a copy, Christy.
Yes. It was great. Yeah.
Month to month, what am I planting? What am I seeding?
Yep. A monthly plan.
Think, like, if you just use an old Google search and you ask that question, you will not get an answer that you feel confident with, because there's so much information. So I think it's nice to have like one spot.
Yeah.
To really understand that information for the climate in the state and the city that you're in, you know, like I think about planting in Columbus versus Cleveland. That's a whole different thing. So
if you Google, when do I plant my green beans, and you get a blog from Houston, Texas, like totally different.
Totally.
You know? Right. So we have those free resources on our website. But when people meet with us as clients as well, and they hire us for consultations, we also have a ton of like, I've like spent years just building up this resource bank of like, here's everything that you would need to help you grow food, you know? And so it's everything from like, how do I make a planting plan, to, hey, here's a list of our 100 top perennial plants that we plant in Central Ohio to grow great food. Yeah. And it's some weird stuff. There's some weird stuff on there. Like we can grow figs in Central Ohio, you know?
So just Amanda and I went and planted figs.
Yes. Have they grown yet?
She ended up moving farms, and so she moved them, but we helped her in a hoop house plant them all. And
she gave us a plant to take home, and my husband weed whacked it. So I do not have a fig tree any longer.
My fig tree also did not winter over. My little one did not, but my son-in-law's, we took it. He came and helped us, and he took one home, and his is sitting on his patio, and it is this big. It is huge. And he's like, I should get figs next year. And I was like, I
tend to prefer like a sort of more tidy and comfortable microclimate, I'd say. We'll have to incorporate figs in your design.
I would love to. I would love to. I want figs, cherries. I want all the fruits, really. I want a fruit forest, basically.
Yeah, we can do that.
With veggies. I love going out to my garden, and even though it's been taken over by weeds after this last vacation, it's still a source of joy for me every time I go out there and pick stuff and take it in and feed the dog and feed the kids. And it makes me really happy. So it's in the wrong spot. I'm glad we did that. It doesn't get enough sun.
So you know,
it does, and they did fine, but I think they would have done better since we're going to move it now. So it's all about experimentation and not being too frustrated. And that's what I've learned about myself it's taught me a lot about my own personal limits and boundaries, joys, what little things make me happy. This property in general just has taught me a lot of that. I'll watch little things grow and pop up, and I'll be like, what are you? What is that? Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, you're beautiful. I didn't know what you're going to turn into, and so there's surprises at every corner, and watching things grow is really cool. And I really enjoy that. So for me, having this, the maintenance of it when we travel, that scares me, right? Because I saw what happened after being gone for a week and a half, and things just get out of control if you don't plan properly, and know what you're doing as far as weed control. So that helped me, make yourself a garden, make it a little patio garden, start small, call Katie, experiment a little bit, see if you can grow patio tomatoes,
I think one of the happiest things is when I was living in apartments, just putting a tomato plant outside my back door. It's picking little cherry tomatoes, and it was something so small. Then the next year I did a little basil plant, and I had my own basil. And I was like, I'm a mozzarella away from a caprese salad.
I'm going gallon of raw milk away from a caprese salad.
That's it. And I think too, Ohio is so cool because what you said, like I think people just think Ohio corn.
Right. Soy.
Corn. Soybean.
Soybeans.
That's it. And my other sister-in-law, she talked, I have 3 sister-in-laws, a lot of them. She was like, yeah, pawpaw trees are like Ohio's like
Fruit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Excuse me? You've
Yeah.
never even heard of a pawpaw tree.
festival. There's a whole festival, and she goes every year, and she got one for her parents, my in-laws, and like it's just like amazing to me that we have a state fruit that can be grown here that I never even knew about.
Most
And it's
people have
just
never
like,
even heard of pawpaws, which is weird.
Yeah.
Unless you go to a farmer's market, you see pawpaw trees,
yeah,
like
Yeah.
fruit, the farmer's markets. But I feel like the general public,
yeah,
for whatever reason, it doesn't make it to our grocery stores. That should tell you something
yeah.
about our food sources. But if our local fruit never makes it to our grocery
Yeah.
stores, like
Yeah.
something's askew.
It's a good point about growing your own food versus getting it from the grocery store. Like, I think, most of the gardeners, really all of them that I work with, none of us will probably ever source 100% of our food from our garden.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do.
Yeah.
It takes an incredible amount of work. It's a second job in a lot of ways. However, there's a lot of really cool things that we can grow, service berries, pawpaws, that like you can't find in the grocery store for whatever reason. In the case of pawpaws, it's because the fruit just rots so quickly that it's like, it's not shelf stable enough, right? Yeah. Service berries, it's like, it's very labor intensive to harvest them. They just don't typically have like service berry farms, but they're another native fruit that we can have in our spaces. And there's so many examples like that where it's, or like varieties even. Oh my gosh. We have a garden club called the Columbus Backyard Garden Club where people get emails from me every day, and we have like workshops and meetups and all kinds of other cool stuff. But I just sent out a newsletter the other day about like 14 crazy varieties that you will not ever find in the grocery store. You probably won't find in the farmer's market. You can grow yourself like pretty easily.
Yeah.
So stuff like that where, gardens like open up a world of variety for us that we don't really get access to otherwise. Mm-hmm.
So where are all the places then? Like if they want to be a part of the garden club, if they want your services, where are the best places to find you?
Always on our website.
Got it.
And usually that's how people find us anyway. Like if you just Google Columbus Foodscapes or like grow food in Columbus, you'll just like, we're always the first hit. I worked very hard on my SEO. So
good job.
Bravo. Put a lot of work. It was kind of an accident that it turned out that way. But so always on our website, we have a contact form on there. And it doesn't like, I think sometimes people are nervous that if they contact us, it has to turn into something big. And it's not the case at all. Like if they contact us and they say like, hey, like I'm kind of thinking, what do you think? Like, are we a good fit? I don't know. Or like even just kind of word puke. Like sometimes I'll just get word puke emails where people are like, I don't know. And my tomatoes worked out, but my potatoes didn't. And I don't know if I should do like, what do you think? And I'll be like, okay, let's take a breath. Like we can figure it out together. And usually I'll still steer people towards doing garden consultations first and saying like, let's just meet. Let me give you a bunch of resources. Let's get our heads around it. Let me give you a whole bunch of things you can do by yourself if you want to right now.
Yeah. It's worth the money, all of you. It's worth the money. Yeah.
I feel like I'm turning into like an advertisement, which I kind of hate, but just, if people are interested in working with us, that's really the way
people get afraid of what does that mean? That we're just going to, like the consultation. I'm just saying she's extremely knowledgeable. She delivered things like companion planting, when to plant, your planting calendar, all these things that she brought with the consultation, as well as showing up and walked the land and walked the property and was ready to come up with a plan about, and you were here for a couple of hours. Like it wasn't some short 20-minute in and out, like,
no.
And you immediately have an energy of just grace and kindness and gentleness and slowness where I would never, ever felt like I was pitched by you about anything.
That's so kind of you to say.
And so I just felt like you were like, whatever you want. What do you want me to design? Do you just want to sit and bounce ideas around today? And this will be the end of it. And that's all you needed. And sometimes I think people just need permission. I used to 100%. Say that in interior design, like some people just need permission to do what they want to do. Cool. Sometimes that in and of itself is enough. And I think that's worth the money with you for somebody to be like, you were like, yep, that's a great idea. Move forward. Sweet. That's all I needed. And somebody just to give you permission to do the thing that you're wanting to do. That's in that space that'll tell you that it's okay.
Totally.
Because maybe you have imposter syndrome in that moment, or you're just afraid, like, I don't want to spend that money or make it not work out. And it's worth the money to meet with you.
That's sweet of you. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, you were saying sometimes people just need permission. Like sometimes I will tell people that's not a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Or
or
not.
also tell people like, don't do that. Like, can I
Right.
give you another idea that's better and actually might work out even greater than your other idea? You know, like,
Right.
so I just try to be honest with people. And like I said, it's like, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's like, I'm here to help people grow food and whatever that looks like is great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then people's experience with growing food is, for the most part, pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
And so just the knowledge and having someone who can guide you, I think, is so, so, so valuable.
Yeah. It's an honor that I get to do it. I'm really happy.
Also, Katie whips out her handy dandy tools, and she's like, can tell how much sunlight a place is getting and where it's coming from, and if things will be successful in that spot. And my garden was successful in that spot that I was already planted when she arrived, but she was like, yeah, this should work. But at the same time, you know, I just watched it, and you gave me permission to do that. Like, yeah, just watch it this season and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I think it would have benefited, the fruiting plants would have benefited from a little bit more sun. I've gotten plenty of tomatoes off of those vines, and still I'm getting plenty of tomatoes, but I think it would be better. And I also realized I don't have enough room.
The tomato's the gateway drug, isn't it, Christy?
It's the gateway
You're
drug.
like, wow, there's so much food. And then the end of the season, you're like, but maybe just one more bed couldn't hurt.
I don't
Maybe
have
just
enough
one
people.
more.
Like, I don't have enough people. I had herbs, tomatoes, sunflower seeds. I planted a little bit of strawberries, bush beans, which I found out I don't like, and which was great because something ate all of them. They all gone. I got like one handful in the beginning of the season, and then something just ate them completely. I clearly missed whatever bug that was. I just came back out, and the whole row is gone, just sticks. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that was. But it's been a learning. It's been such a learning curve, right? Of how much work do you want to put in it versus what yield you get out of it, right? And so people say that about raising chickens, and it'd be the most expensive eggs you've ever had in your whole life, right? By the time you get the coop and the chickens and the feed and the stuff and the work, and is it a labor of love? Or is it something that you're just doing because you think it'll be cheaper in the long run, right? It is. You have to weigh all of those things because it does come with work. And I think that people don't understand. And I knew that. And then you experience it. And then you're like, wow, this is a lot. And so you have to pick and choose, which is why I want raised beds. My husband's like, I mean, why don't we can just plant on the ground? You don't have to.
And you can. He's right.
Totally true.
He's right. Right.
We don't have the time for that.
That's right.
That's the truth. It's like the weeding, that the time that it takes to weed. And had I done it probably properly, this was also a learning curve the first time around, and really prepared for not having weeds when I planted and got ahead of it, would have been way better. I just unfortunately came back to like, oh God, now this is a giant mess is taking over my whole garden. I have to now I've spent hours and hours weeding and then putting down a cardboard and mulch and the whole thing. And even that, when we went on vacation, got overtaken again, I'm not deterring people. I'm just saying, like, you have to have, and I could have very easily used the wrong products. This is part of why having somebody like Katie is important, is bouncing those, like, what do I do here? How can I be the most successful with the least amount of work? Yeah. Is what I'm getting. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but had I called her or texted her and been like, hey, what do I use on my beds to make sure I don't get all these weeds to make it easier for me, I think I would have had probably a different experience. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You spend money and take the extra time at the beginning to save it later, Yeah. And I think that's another thing is like experts, whether it be like business coaching or anything else, people always are like, I don't want to spend the money on that. And then you realize you spend way much more than you would have if you had someone giving you the expert advice. From the beginning, right?
100%. Yeah, we meet with a lot of people who will call me in, but they'll feel like a little shy or a little embarrassed or like, I don't know. And it's like, hey, like, that's what I'm here for, baby. Like, I'm here to help. Like, I guarantee you I've seen worse, and whatever you've got going on, we can handle it, and we're going to turn it around. I think one of the other cool things that I'm really proud of in our company is that we really focus on organic maintenance. And I think like, I just find that to be so important. Like, we really emphasize and prioritize like our health and the environment's health, which is really great. And so teaching people how to garden organically has been really important. Yeah. And you're totally right. You can grow food in the ground. It's a lot of people do it. It's a fine. It is a lot more work. Yeah. I mean, it just seems to be a lot more work for annual vegetables, right? perennial stuff like raspberries and, blackberries and fig trees, that kind of stuff should be in the ground. But for annuals, tomatoes, peppers, you can do raised beds and you can do a lot with a little amount of room in raised beds.
And I did my own Pinterest board at Katie's, beckoning and said, come up with ideas. And man, there's so many beautiful things that you can do in a garden growing food that it's really beautiful. Like it's aesthetically beautiful. It doesn't have to be what we think of as a garden bed, right? Like the rectangle with the posts and the things growing, although I find that aesthetically pleasing as well. But there's what people do with these gardens are really, really stunning. So I have a lot of plans.
I can't wait to dive into them.
I have a lot of plans.
We're going to design you like the most kickin', beautiful garden.
I want to use, all the things. I want to use divine, like geometry, sacred geometry. I have a person that can do all that. And
we're going to do some really cool, fun stuff.
Humming.
I'm super excited
for photos.
Untamed Blossoms Garden. Where all of these amazing women that we interview gather and get to know each other.
Oh, it's going to be so great. I can't wait to see.
I can't wait.
Speaking of wonderful women, do you have a few people in your life that you like to shout out that have helped guide you, whether it be personal, career, just women who have been important in your life?
So I find there's been some magic, and I think a lot of women experience this in their life, where the exact moment they are calling for something or feel called to something, the exact right person comes into their life and like sort of just opens the doors and sort of guides them and shows them. So I've been blessed with some really incredible business mentors. Kind of the one that I connect with the most right now and who I call the most of her time to right now is Melissa with Rustic Hills Garden Co. She's in Minnesota. She's really great. And oh gosh, okay. I don't know why I feel called to share this, but I do. Like Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she's an author. She wrote a really incredible book called Women Who Run with the Wolves. And
oh my gosh, I love that book.
Yeah, I sometimes will pick it up and like just like leaf out and just like feel like, okay, what do I need to know? And like flip open the page and then read through stuff. And I find it really powerful. And just, just the women farmers that I've been blessed to work with, just seeing, I think something that's been really cool for me is seeing women leaders who like lead with this real balance of like masculine and feminine energy and power, and like people who were soft spoken but still really incredible leaders, like people who were grounded and not in their head or egotistical but still really incredible leaders. And like I think it just has helped me really see to believe that that leadership is something that is like grown into and earned, and that if we really follow that call and adjust as we need to and care about our people first, that like we can do really great work in the world. So many of them, though. It's so hard to like even.
No, that's great. I think someone told us this a few episodes ago. It's like, man, if you see a woman doing great things, especially if they're in leadership, know how hard they're working and do your best to lift them up.
Yeah.
That's all we can do is really lift each other up in these spaces where it's difficult, where there's not a lot of women in the farming industry, whether it be there's not a lot of women who feel empowered to have microphones in front of their faces. I know that's silly, but women using their own voices and telling their own stories, that's really hard. And so let's make sure we're supporting and lifting each other up. So
yeah. Yeah, I love that phrase. Like, we can't be in competition because I want you to win too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really feel that with the women in my life. Like, I want all of them to win too.
Absolutely. Well, we want you to win. So we will be sharing all the places where people can find you. Have them in the episode notes, and we'll also be promoting you on social. So thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. Stay tuned for your garden.
Yeah. Yes. We're going to be working really hard through the fall and the winter, and we'll see what comes up.
Yeah. Totally.
Yay. Good. Thank you guys.
Well, if this episode resonates with you, please make sure you're sharing it with a family or friend. And you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and iHeart. Thanks, everyone.
Love you.
Love you.